Good morning to the Hood Table Squad and to the Hood Table Nation members. I hope everybody is having a great week so far. Today is my Monday. So, yes, I enjoyed a 3-day weekend, but now it's back to grind time. This morning, I just want to update you, especially the community of Omaha, Nebraska, on the latest information of the James Scurlock and Jake Gardner case as it deals with Douglas County Attorney Don Kleine. A few days ago, the Nebraska Democratic Party passed a resolution against fellow Democrat Douglas County Attorney Don Kleine. In response to that, Omaha Police Chief Todd Smatter and Omaha Mayor Gene Stothert released a statement defending Douglas County Attorney Don Kleine Monday amid criticism of Kleine's handling of the James Scurlock case. Don Kleine is one of the most skilled county attorneys in the country. He is also a man I have great respect for, he wrote. As chief of the Omaha Police Department, I have personally witnessed him to be a champion for crime victims while seeking justice for victims of all races and genders. I ask that everybody revisits the vast body of work of County Attorney Kleine, and you will see a dedicated and ethical public servant. Stothert wrote, the Nebraska Democratic Party's attack on Don Kleine gives credibility to Jakeem Fox and his hateful opinions and actions. In an interview, Kleine says it is very disturbing. Once Kleine found out about the resolution, he also stated, I've always promoted diversity, and to accuse me of some sort of white supremacist stuff is just beyond belief to me. Don Kleine went on to say, criticizing you for making a decision is one thing, but saying things about you that you promote white supremacy is beyond. Now I'm about to show you guys a small clip of a recent interview with Don Kleine's response.
The Nebraska Democratic passes a resolution attacking fellow Democrat Douglas County Attorney Don Kleine. Good evening, I'm Julie Cornell. The resolution aims to promote racial equity and anti-racist practices. It denounces the actions of Kleine and his handling of the James Scurlock case. They claim his actions perpetuated white supremacy and sparked division in Omaha. Well, Don Kleine says he wasn't even notified of the resolution, let alone allowed to respond. KETV News Watch 7 Sarah Feely is live with tonight's big story. Sarah.
The resolution was brought to the NDP by a citizen, Jakeem Fox. He's an advocate for racial equality. Kleine says he wasn't ever made aware of the accusations or allowed to respond. And now he's considering leaving the party over the attack. Douglas County Attorney Don Kleine says he got a phone call from someone asking if he'd heard about the Nebraska Democratic Party's recent resolution. He hadn't, and it came as a shock. It reads in part, quote, the Nebraska Democratic Party will support activist reformation efforts by denouncing the actions of elected Democrat Don Kleine in his handling of the James Scurlock case in a way that perpetuated white supremacy and sparked deep division in Omaha.
I've always promoted diversity. And to accuse me of some sort of white supremacist stuff is beyond belief to me.
Kleine says his office is one of the most diverse in the state, and every division is led by a female. He calls the accusation of racism and furthering white supremacy a personal attack.
It's really disheartening. It's frustrating. It's disturbing. It really makes me angry. To see some people say some things like this about me.
He says his office makes a point of helping minorities, especially when they're the victim of a crime.
I've always fought so hard to get justice for minorities and people who probably would have a difficult time getting justice, maybe because they thought they weren't being heard. So that's what my office has always been dedicated to.
He stands by his decision in the Scurlock case and says the real source of division is people not listening to the facts and attacking each other.
We've worked so hard with the people in the community to try and make sure that we get justice for people and that we build our trust. And things like this have a devastating effect on that.
The resolution also calls for curriculum to educate candidates on racial equity, racism, and cultural competency. That's something that Don Kleine says he fully supports. Now, leaders within the NDP were not available for comment tonight. A spokesperson told me they were getting ready for their annual fundraiser and a Zoom meeting with Elizabeth Warren.
Now, to some members and leaders of the community, his statement alone comes as a surprise. With all the backlash he has been receiving ever since he decided to not file any charges within 48 hours of Jane's death, I would think he would know that eventually some action will be taken. It was indeed a very quick investigation done over a few days that allowed Jake Gardner to go free and to lead the state of Nebraska. Then, of course, the community got together to promote the self-defense, to protest the self-defense decision. And with pressure from the community and from the Skurlock family and their attorney, Justin Wayne, a grand jury investigation was decided on to reinvestigate the murder. The grand jury convened Tuesday, September 7th, to determine if any criminal charges should be filed in the May 30th death of Skurlock. After speaking to around 60 people, investigating witness statements, evidence including Gardner's social media, cell phones, and security cameras at his downtown bar, The Hive, the grand jury returned an indictment. The counts were manslaughter, use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony, attempted first-degree assault, and terroristic threats. There are those who still believe that what Gardner did was self-defense, but per Special Prosecutor Frederick Franklin, the majority of the evidence came from Gardner himself. But since Gardner had already left the state, they couldn't bring him in immediately. Instead, he was given the option of turning himself in or being issued a warrant for his arrest. Gardner had informed his attorney that he would turn himself in on Sunday, September 21st, but that never happened. On the afternoon of September 21st, Omaha authorities had received notification that Jake Gardner had committed suicide in Oregon. Police in Oregon released the following statement. At about 12:20 p.m., Hillsborough Police Department officers responded to the 300 block of Southeast 9th Avenue after a body was found outside a medical clinic. They discovered 38-year-old Jacob Gardner of Omaha, Nebraska, dead. Afterwards, Gardner's attorney, Tom Monaghan, said that social media convicted Gardner before the grand jury indicted him. There's no way to defend the lies on social media. When you respond, you only make it worse, he said. We have to stop the lies. I want to make it very clear that this was a clear case of self-defense, Dornan said, describing Gardner as cooperative with police. Despite feeling that way, there are many in the community of North Omaha who still feels differently, believing all along that Gardner's actions were not of self-defense. Being that Gardner committed suicide, the Skurlock family will never know if he would have in fact been found guilty of all or some of the 4 charges he was indicted on. As a matter of fact, there are posts being made on Facebook from people demanding to see Gardner's body, despite claims that he has committed suicide. Since then, the Skurlock family, along with their attorney Justin Wayne, has decided since the grand jury evidence is sealed and the case against Gardner is now closed, they will do their own investigation. That investigation will include questioning the members of the grand jury. Also, a lot of people have been calling for the resignation of Don Kleine. I'll read what somebody had stated regarding this. In quotes, Don Kleine files no charges within 48 hours of James' death. Jake Gardner is free to leave the state. Grand jury indicts him on manslaughter and 3 other charges. Knowing he's guilty, he takes his life. Then his attorneys get on TV trying to make Jake out to be the victim. Special prosecutor speaks and gives us information we've all been waiting to hear. The fact that Don Kleine still stands behind his decision not to charge Jake Gardner is sickening. Then you attack the special prosecutor who did the job you didn't, end quotes. And for those who might be wondering, to recall Douglas County Don Kleine, it would require someone to be the principal circulator who would file a recall petition filing form. The principal circulator and volunteer circulators would then collect signatures. The number of signatures required are 35% of the number of votes cast in the most recent election for that office. There would be 30 days to collect signatures. The math for Don Kleine would be approximately 55,199 signatures needed. Every signature is examined and verified often, losing some, so even more signatures will be needed. Don Kleine would then have the option to resign or to recall election would be called, or a recall election would be called. This is an ongoing story, the Hood Table Nation and the Hood Table Squad, so more details to follow.